things that motorcyclists enjoy when they're riding that other people may not actually think of. Hey, it's K-Dog here. I am on the way to a tent revival. Pastor of my Christian motorcycle group is the guest pastor at a tent revival this evening, so I'm headed there. My wife just had surgery on her tendon on her elbow, so she's not going tonight. So I thought while I was headed there, I would do a little bit of recording and try to record some of the things that motorcyclists enjoy when they're riding that other people may not actually think of until they really have a chance to experience it. So let me just see what I can think through. I'd say the first thing that comes to mind is that feeling when it's still early in the morning, but the sun's coming up. When you hit those low spots in the road, it's still cool down low, and then you come up and it gets warm, and then you go down, it gets cool again. That's a feeling that you just don't get when you're in the car going somewhere. It just feels so good. You just feel like you're out there, you're actually out there, you're outdoors instead of just sitting in the cage, as we call it. It's such a neat feeling. It's kind of a cliche, but another one is just that whole feeling of the wind in your face. The smells. You smell when someone's mowing. I just love that smell personally. Luckily I don't have allergies, I guess, but you smell when someone's mowing, you smell when someone's cutting wood, you smell when there's something that's died on the road. It's just, it's much more visceral an experience. You don't get that when you're in the car. When you're on the motorcycle, at least when I am, I'm paying a lot more attention to everything all around me, not just in front of me and behind me, but even to the side as well. So I notice more of the countryside when I'm on the motorcycle. I notice the old RVs that are parked along the road. I notice the cornfields, the bean fields, the fields that look good and the fields that look like they're too dry. I notice the wildlife, notice the turkey and the deer on the edge of the field or in the middle of the field, because I'm out there looking. I'm not really always looking at that stuff when I'm in the car. Another thing is there is absolutely a sense of brotherhood when you ride with a group long enough that you get to know each other. You get to know how everybody rides. You get to trust them, more. And it's a real sense of brotherhood and a real sense of trust. And when you're going 70 or 80 down the highway, and you might be 12 inches away from the motorcycle beside you. I'm not saying you do that all the time. I don't usually do that, but I have done that in the past. I went on a week-long trip with some friends quite a number of years ago. One of the guys that went on the trip was a retired Colorado Highway Patrol. I think he taught a lot of the Colorado P how to ride, and he taught me some things on that trip, and I probably did some things I shouldn't have done in terms of not being qualified, but with his help, there was some times where we were 6 inches apart going 80, he was holding on to my handlebars and his at the same time, and I wasn't holding any handlebars at all. And that's just not something that you do unless you have that sense of brotherhood and that sense of trust. And maybe not the smartest thing to do, I must admit. Definitely when I'm on the motorcycle, whether it's with a group or with my wife or just by myself, I go to places that I would never go just in the car. So I get to see a lot of small towns and small locations that I never would have seen otherwise. I did a scavenger hunt recently in one of the groups I'm in, which is where you basically just go to a bunch of locations and you prove that you were there in various ways, and you earn points for the various locations and the various types of locations that you go to, and you win prizes and things like that. And I went to so many war memorials that I had driven by many times before and never even knew they were there. I went to national parks, state parks. I just saw all kinds of things that I never really paid attention to when I was in just a car. I don't know if it's true for everyone, but I can say for me that I've actually become a better driver by riding a motorcycle, even a better car driver. I don't know that my wife always agrees with that. I'm more assertive of a driver than she is, but I definitely pay a whole lot more attention to upcoming situations to try to avoid them that I really wouldn't have paid attention to in the car before. Some of those aren't the same kind of hazards in a car that they are in a motorcycle, but I pay much more attention now to the obvious motorcycle challenges of cars turning left in front of you, cars crossing your path, but even other situations like cars merging in front of you, cars, fast cars coming up quickly behind you, upcoming road hazards, things in the road that cars don't think about. So I definitely think I've actually become a better driver. I'm more assertive in terms of I avoid or I get out of dicey situations, even in the car now, because of my motorcycle riding. Probably one of the best things is the people that I've met as a motorcycle rider, not just as a Christian, but as a motorcyclist. A lot of people seem to have preconceived notions about people that ride motorcycles, especially the bikers that have a vest with a patch on it. Motorcyclists, 99% of the time, literally 99% of the time, are some of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. All walks of life, all socioeconomic statuses, all races, all religions. We all have something in common, which is riding motorcycles and loving these exact things that I'm talking about that we get to experience as motorcyclists. Another great one for me as a married person is I get to experience more of the world with my wife that I wouldn't get to experience necessarily with her if I did not ride a motorcycle. All the things I'm talking about in this video are things that she gets to experience with me, which is just great. That's, truly what I really like about riding motorcycles right now is at this point in my life with my wife, we both truly seem to enjoy riding and enjoy doing it together. We don't ever plan on her riding a motorcycle separate. I don't know that she would ever be that comfortable, but I wouldn't want her to even if she were, because I like having her with me on the bike, where I feel like we're experiencing this stuff more together. All right, now I'm on the highway going 70. It's not quite as much scenic or fun, and I'm not sure how the quality of the audio is going to change. It may actually wrap up what most of my main points were anyway. Again, what I was trying to convey was there's so much more to riding a motorcycle than what people might think. It's not just, at least for me, it's not just looking cool and having lots of chrome. You know, for me, it's never been about that. For me, it's been more about comfort and being able to get miles in. But more importantly, it's the sensations and the experiences that I get on a motorcycle, on those trips and with those people and with my wife, that I just would not get if I were not riding a motorcycle. I just love it. Anyway, that's it. Hope that was interesting in some way. I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you ride and what you really like about it. Feel free to throw some comments in the section down below, and if you like the videos that you're seeing, I would love for you to subscribe and throw me a like, and ride safe, and as usual, ride blessed.